everyone, welcome to the channel. It's Carolyn. I have another pick a pile reading for you today. We're going to be focusing on a problem in your life. This could be something that you're aware of. This also could be something that's subconsciously affecting you. And so we're going to be addressing what this problem is, and then I'm going to be giving you advice on how to fix it and other information Spirit wants you to know about this. So take a moment and pause the video if you need to meditate. We have 4 different cards indicating each pile. So we have the vow, the threshold, the heart, and the riddle. So again, if you need to pause and meditate, do so. I'm also going to have the timestamps for each of the piles in the description box down below. So if you're drawn to pick your piles based on angel numbers, definitely go ahead and look at those. If you're drawn to watch multiple piles, that's okay. They each might have a different message for you. If you're new to the channel, I want to say welcome. Please subscribe. I would love to have you a part of this family, and make sure you turn on that bell notification. I post new videos every single week, and so you definitely want to stay tuned so you don't miss them. I post more pick a pile readings like this. I also post collective readings and other educational videos to help you all along your spiritual journeys. And if you're interested in learning tarot, I have a whole playlist where I take tarot cards and relate them to different pop culture references in movies and TV shows to help you understand the cards a bit better. So in the cards above, I'll have some of my videos that you can watch after this one. I also want to say that if you want to get your own private reading, I do sell them. You can check out my Etsy shop, or you can message me on Facebook or Instagram. And if this reading resonates and you're drawn to leave a donation, I would really appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. So with all that said, definitely take time and pick out your pile if you haven't already, and I'm going to go ahead and start off the readings. So those of you who chose the vow, for the rest of your cards, you had the prayer, the queen, the seed, Venus beloved, card 21, card 1, the sun, 32, door to spirit, 14, caring connections, reflect, and light. So I'm going to go ahead and rearrange these cards so you can see them a bit better. So right away, I'm picking up on the sense of being torn and being in a bit of denial about things, where you haven't fully accepted what you need to do or what is even an issue. It's almost like you're trying to convince yourself, no, that can't be an issue, because you have the vow and you have the prayer. And so what I think this really boils down to is the fact that you have a promise, you have a commitment, or you in your mind mentally have signed up and taken on this responsibility, because it's like you prayed for it. It's like this is something that you wanted. So this problem in your life, I think this is something that you either manifested or you worked really hard to bring into your life. And so you're really grateful to have it. And you have the queen card, which is indicating that it's like you're this empress here, you're this queen, you created it, you brought it to life, you nurtured it, you spent time and energy cultivating it, you've planted the seed and you've grown it. And now you have this flower here. And it's like you got what you wanted, and now you have the seed, which is a whole new thing catching your eye. And so I sense there's this dilemma for you of not knowing what to do, because something that you've been wanting you now have, and now you want to give it up. Now you no longer want it. And it's almost like you don't know how to process it, you don't know how to come to terms with that, and you don't know what to do. You're stuck because you feel like you trapped yourself. You feel like you're boxed in. And so it's this energy of not knowing what to do, of feeling stuck, feeling trapped, because you're afraid that if you walk away, you're breaking this vow, you're breaking this promise, and you're gonna look ungrateful. You're gonna look like you don't know what you want. You're gonna look confused. And it feels like it's messy. I really feel like this is a messy situation, and you're trying to make it look perfect. You want to present the image that you're this queen or a king and you have this perfect life. Everything you worked for, you got. You're happy with your life, you're grateful, and everything's just going perfect for you. But internally, you're struggling. Internally, it's like you have this act that you're presenting to the world that's a front, that's a mask. And that's why I'm sensing there could be some denial with this. There's some unfulfillment, unhappiness with your current circumstance that you're not allowing yourself to feel, because you think allowing yourself to feel those emotions is a betrayal to yourself. It's a betrayal to everything that you work towards. Some of you, this is a relationship that you were chasing this person and you really wanted them and you had a crush on them for so long, and now you finally got them, and now you're realizing that the relationship isn't all that you hyped it up to be. Others of you, you have so many offers coming in to your life that these people want to be with you, and these are offers that are I hate to say it, but better than what you have. And there's this energy of feeling like you're settling, or feeling like you're stuck, like you're trapped, like you're stifled. Because you have the seed appearing twice. You have the seed here, and then you have the life card here. Both of these represent planting a seed and watching it grow. And so to me, it feels like you're at this crossroads where it's either keep what you have or plant the seeds and see where it takes you, see what grows. And that's why you're having this period of reflection, because you need to reflect on the situation. Those of you who are religious with door to spirit in the prayer, I think it's important that you do pray about this, that you do really think it through. Others of you, if you want to meditate on it, I would also advise that as well. You really just want to take time and think it through in a way where you're actually being honest with yourself. Because right now I feel like there's this level of denial, and you need to have some accountability to actually think through all these options. But Carolyn Connections here is indicating that your other options, this life, this seed, whatever it is that needs to be planted, is going to allow better people to come into your life, or not necessarily better, but new people who are adding to your life. It doesn't feel like this option is taking away from you. You're just so afraid of losing what you have because you work so hard to get it. I really am sensing this torn feeling because you want more. You're unfulfilled. What you have now is not fueling you the way you thought it would. And so there's this desire to grow. There's this desire to evolve. But you're so afraid of doing that because it means potentially losing what you have. Now, not all of you need to actually lose what you have. There's a way that you can actually take your current situation and have it grow into something along with you, but there needs to be adjustments and there needs to be acceptance. Right now there's no acceptance, and that's why this is so difficult. And I think that's what you need to come to terms with right now, is the fact with this Sun card, this seed is not going away. This seed is not disappearing. You need to bring the sunlight to it. You need to let it grow. You need to grow. Forcing yourself to be happy with this vow is not going to change the way you're currently feeling about it. You have Venus, beloved. This is not saying that you don't love what you have. This is not saying that you're not appreciating what you have. It's just not meeting all your needs. And so you're going to have another option that's going to help you be fulfilled, be happy with your life, be this queen who now feels like you're in control of things, because the queen is the nurturer, the caretaker. She is the mother energy of the duality of the king and the queen. And so she's a leader, she's fierce, she is very decisive when she needs to be, but she has that empathetic side to her. And so the way you get through this situation is by being empathetic to yourself, is by caring about yourself, still being the leader and making those hard choices that you need to make instead of being in denial. Because if a queen has to make a decision, denying it, ignoring it, doesn't make her not have to make the decision anymore. Life is going to make that decision for her. And her decision then would have been inaction. Just because you opt out of things or you hide from them doesn't mean that life stops and waits for you. The sun is everywhere. It's going to grow. Whether you are bringing the sunlight to it or whether the sunlight is coming in through the cracks, it's getting in. And that's your problem right now, is that you are so afraid of losing what you have that you're ignoring what's coming up from the ground here, reaching out to you. And I also get the sense, some of you have these people in your life, they're coming in with this Carolyn Connections card and they're offering you these flowers, they're offering you these things. They're offering you a way to fast track and propel the growth of the seed. But you're not understanding that's what's happening. A lot of you're feeling defensive, you're feeling attached, you're feeling afraid. And so you're becoming a little bit defensive. And so when someone's offering you these good things, you're taking it as a threat, as what you have right now isn't good enough. You're taking it as these people are judging you. You're taking it as these people are trying to control you. That's not what they're doing. They're coming at a place of love. With Venus here, they care about you. People aren't saying things to be mean. People aren't saying things because they want to put you down. They see your potential and they want to aid in that. And so Spirit's advice to you right now is to understand that just because you worked for something, just because you really wanted something, doesn't mean it's going to be perfect. It doesn't mean that it's going to be everything you imagined it to be, especially when you put it on such a high pedestal. It's almost like it can't live up to those expectations. And sometimes in life, we're disappointed by things. We get them, and it turns out they're not that great. And now we can focus our energy on something else, and we can create a new dream. But that requires reflection, and it requires the ability to understand the cycles of life and how things roll in cycles, and they're not always going to be perfect. Not everything is going to have an upwards trend. Sometimes things are going to come back down. And so when you make these promises to yourself and you take on this responsibility, that's great and motivational. But if it's creating an opposite effect where you're being overly burdened by something and where it's weighing you down, you need to evaluate why you're holding on to it. And if it's coming from a place of pride and ego and being too prideful to admit that you were wrong, that it didn't live up to expectations, that you are disappointed, because if you're holding on to something just for those reasons, it's time to let it go. Let that cycle complete itself and start a new beginning with the seed here. And when you reflect on your current situation, on this manifestation, if there is a way that you can take what you have and allow it to grow with you, you're allowed to do that. The problem right now is not that you need to let everything go in order to grow. It's saying you need to accept that you need to grow. You have to allow yourself to change, to adapt. Right now you're holding on to everything, and it's creating this rigidness in your life. You need to reflect and figure out a way to take what you have and adapt it so you can grow. Bring the sun to it and illuminate the situation. You have the sun card here, and the queen card has the image of the moon. And so when the sun and the moon come together, they create this eclipse. And so that's something that's rare. It's something that's beautiful, and it draws a lot of attention. And so this is representing the energy of creation in which you are bringing attention onto you. Change and transformation is always going to make people look at you a certain way. It's always going to bring some people forward and have them say things about you. And so you can't be afraid to present this perfect image to the world, because you're never going to be able to do that, and people are going to critique you nonetheless. And so Spirit's encouraging you right now to let go of the perfection, to let go of the creation of your life and the manufactured life you created for yourself that appeases everyone else. And allow yourself to create, allow yourself to be beautiful by growing the seed, by growing and evolving yourself and changing your manifestations and ideas and desires out of life to change as you do. And it might not be perfect, but it's going to be more beautiful. It's going to represent the Venus energy. Number 3, because you have 21, that reduces to number 3. 3 represents the number of curiosity. It represents the energy of learning, of knowledge, of expansion. Right now, you need to expand. And when looking at the solution cards, you have card 1, 32 equals 5, and 14 also equals 5. So you have 1, 5, 5. 1 is the number of the self, of the individual. 5 is the number of change, of transformation. You're being told to grow, to expand of yourself in order to change. That's what your current problem is right now. This vow is something that's not guiding you, that's not allowing you to become the best version of yourself. It's a vow that's now become a burden. And so you need to allow yourself to unleash yourself from this in order to actually reflect in a way that's healthy for you, instead of in a way where you're putting everything on yourself and trapping yourself in and boxing yourself in. Because it doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter if your life's not perfect. What matters is if you are fulfilled, if you are happy. And right now, there's too much pressure on you that you're simply not. And that's not going to change just because you really want it to. That's not going to change because you're trying to convince yourself that you're in love with this manifestation. You have changed, but you're not accepting that, and you really need to accept that in order to be fulfilled by your life. Otherwise, you're going to just be chasing this dream that you no longer want, and you're going to start living a fantasy and not living in reality. So I'm sending you all so much love at this time. I know this is not something you want to be going through. It's not fun to be going through it, but just allow yourself to accept the fact that you're not always going to have all the answers. Allow yourself to accept where you're at right now, which is the fact that you don't have answers, that you are torn, that you don't know what to do. And just take it one step at a time, and it's going to get better. Allow yourself to grow, and eventually you'll start to find your footing again. And so I hope that this was able to help you out in some way. I hope that this resonates for you. If it did, let me know in the YouTube comments down below. Also, give this video a big thumbs up and share with others who need to hear it. If you're not already subscribed, please do so. I would love to have you a part of this family. And make sure you turn on that bell notification so you don't miss out when I post my new video. I post new videos every single week to help you out along your spiritual journeys. I'll have more of my videos linked in the cards above that you can watch now. And if you want to get your own private reading, I do sell them. All the ways you can contact me is going to be in the description box down below, and I can't wait to see you all in my next video. I hope you have a good one. Bye. So those of you who chose the threshold, for the rest of your cards, you have Kairos, 23 all tied up, 5 attachment, 27 walking away, 6 Virgo digest, 44 6th house sustainability, card 27 Pluto rebirth, and perseverance. So I'm going to take a moment to rearrange these cards so you can see them a bit better. So the threshold represents this archetype in which you're at this gateway, this entryway, this initiation, so to speak, energetically, in which there's a new beginning, but in order to go through it, you have to leave a part of you behind. You have to allow yourself to become this new energy in which you're willing to adapt. You're letting things shape you, and you're not fearful to go through this initiation. It represents this breakthrough and this new beginning. And Kairos represents divine timing, mythic timing, the energy of feeling like you're at the right place at the right time for a specific reason. And so there's this energy of having things pulling the strings behind the scenes for our timelines, and that sync up with us, with our purpose in life. And so the problem that I'm sensing in your life is that you're at this point in which you're at this gateway, you're at this threshold, and the timing is for you, and you're halting it, you're stalling it. There's something that you know you're meant to do, but you're afraid to do it. You're holding yourself back, and you're feeling like you can't do it. But the reason you feel like you can't do it is all stuff you're telling yourself. Because you have card 23 here. This is all tied up. This is saying you have tied yourself all up. And whether, this is because other people in your life have gotten in your head, no matter what they're saying, no matter what they're doing, you're believing them. Because this initiation with this threshold is not an actual threshold. Like for some of you, it might be appearing that way. Some of you might be being told to start over with a new career. You might be being told to move and actually have a new threshold where you're actually going from one place to the other. But it's an energetic threshold that comes along with that. So it might be manifesting physically, but it's because energetically it's time for that shift. It's time for that change. And so it doesn't matter what people are saying or doing that's preventing you from doing it. The problem right now is your mindset, because you're all tied up. You know what to do. It doesn't feel like you're confused. It feels like you don't want it or you're afraid to do it. But you have the knowledge. And you have a lot of Virgo energy here because you have Virgo and you have the 6th house. So you could have Virgo in your chart, or if you're into astrology, I would really recommend to look at your 6th house and see what zodiacs are affecting it and work with that energy in order to allow yourself to find a sustainable way to allow change to happen in your life. Because the 6th house represents our routines and our daily habits. So when it comes to this problem in your life, this fear of doing something, find a way in which you can break it down into your daily routine where you're slowly untangling yourself from these knots and these strings that are tying you up. You start to unravel them throughout your days. Eventually you'll be free, and then you can walk away. But I think that's also why you have perseverance here, because you are meant to challenge yourself. You're meant to realize the way that you're holding yourself back so that you can persevere past it and walk through this threshold. So it's like the problem you're facing is that you're at this point in your life in which you're meant for the shift, you're meant for this change, and you're afraid. And something I want to point out is you have card 23 that equals 5. You have card 5 here. 5 represents the number of change. And then you have 27 and you have 27. 27 reduces to number 9. 9 is the completion of a cycle. It's the ending of a cycle. And so you have change and then you have endings. Right now, You're all tied up because you're attached to something in your life. You're holding on to it. But you're being told you need to walk away. The solution to your problem right now is to simply do it and face the consequences. Let it happen. Persevere past it, because it's time for this rebirth. The 6th house is sustainability. And when you're being sustainable, you're acknowledging what's going on in your life. You're acknowledging what you need to do, what task you need to handle. And so if you think about this rebirth like you would an actual birth, if someone's in labor, just because they're afraid to give birth doesn't mean that they don't give birth. That time is now. That time is happening. And so once they're in labor, and once they start having to actually give birth, there's no going back. There's no turning around. It's simply going to happen. And that's the problem that's going on in your life right now, is that you're at this point in which it's too late to turn around. It's too late to say no. It's already at that point in which you're meant to have this rebirth. And so here you are all tied up. You're just going through more pain, almost like the labor pains. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have this rebirth. And with the Virgo card here, this tells you that you are at a point in your life in which you need to edit, you need to refine. So right now you're at this threshold and you're all tied up. You're trying to hold on to everything that you got and take it all with you. And you're afraid that if you don't do that, you won't be ready for it. You're holding on to these attachments and you're at the threshold and you don't fit. Everything you're trying to take isn't going to fit through. Energetically, you're taking on too much. If we look at these 2 cards here, they're dark cards. The energy is a little bit gloomy. Here, you're all tied up. You have everything binding you. Here, you're chained. When you're walking away with this card here, you reach freedom. It's a brighter energy. You're more vibrant. You're more radiant. And everything's flowing. Nothing's binding you. Nothing's holding you together. You're free flowing because you don't have any attachments. You're not holding on to anything. You're taking yourself, your knowledge, but you're letting the rest go because you're realizing it's unnecessary. Sustainability is taking what you need. You're at a point in your life where you're trying to take on too much, you're carrying too much, and it's weighing you down. It's emotionally taxing yourself. I feel like this could be indicating that the problem in your life right now is that you're at this threshold in which you need to set boundaries and you're too afraid to do it, but you need to do it because that's the only way you're going to get from this point past the threshold. And like I said, this is happening. It's just how painful do you want to make this? This problem isn't going away. You're not going to stop growing. This rebirth is going to happen. It's just, is it going to be a painful rebirth or is it going to be easy? There's a lot of reflection you need to do right now in order to understand your attachments and see what you're holding on to that is not good for you and how you're actually hurting yourself by holding on to it. Because you need to be more sustainable, and that means you need to be taking better care of yourself, and that means that you need to accept when you're doing something that's not good for yourself. It means you need to make things easier for yourself to digest, where you're being very mindful of everything that you're consuming. So this means physically what you're eating. This also means what you're watching. This also means what people you allow in your space and where you work and where you spend your time and your energy. It's consuming on all areas of your life. Everything you're taking in is affecting you. And the change is happening. The change is going to happen regardless. The cycle is coming to a completion. You're going to walk away. This is a karmic lesson I feel that you're going through. You're learning it. You're going to understand it. But right now, you don't want to. And that's what it comes down to, is you have this problem in front of you. You know what to do. You have the tools. You have the resources. This isn't going to click, and this rebirth isn't going to happen until you allow it to, until you're ready for it. And I feel like some of you, you've been wanting a change. You've been wanting this rebirth, and you're frustrated that it's not happening yet. And the reason Spirit wanted you to watch this message is because you're saying you want it. You're not letting it happen. You're trying to micromanage it too much. You're trying to control it too much. You have to allow it to happen. You have to walk away and be free for it to happen. So you can't control the change, but you can control your reaction to it. And that's how you refine yourself. You don't refine your life and manufacture this change. You can't force this change. It's going to happen. And you can make adjustments in your life, but you can't do them expecting a specific outcome for the change. It feels like there's this energy in which you're too focused on who you're going to be once you get past the threshold. That's not how it works. You're at this pivotal time of your life in which there's going to be a milestone or a major shift that shapes you, that changes you. You're trying too hard to go through it, experience it, and end up the person you want to be, and end up the person you think you're going to be. You already have a predetermined destination. That's what you need to let go of. That's what's blocking you right now. You're not wrong about sensing this change. You're not wrong about understanding there's a rebirth going on, but you're getting all tied up in the small details and the semantics about it. And that's your attachment. Some of you, I realize, you didn't understand what your attachment was, and it's because you're your attachment. Your need to refine, especially if you're a Virgo, your need to refine and control things is what's holding you back. When you walk away, there's no control. You simply are, you simply exist. When it comes to manifesting your future and manifesting goals, start manifesting by saying, I want this or better. Don't limit yourself, don't hold yourself back. You're putting yourself too much into a box of specific things that you want, and you're not letting the universe provide something that you might not be aware that you need. Sometimes what you want, what you desire, and what you need are things that you can't even imagine because you're too limited. That's the problem that's going on right now. Is you have these doors opening up to you, but you're saying no to them because you don't think they're the right one, because you're too concerned on what you think that's going to lead to. Allow yourself to untie yourself. Let go of this attachment. Let go of the idea you have about this. And just go for it. Just start to trust. Walk through this threshold. Let go of your fears. Because what you don't understand right now, this is the painful part. That's why these cards are darker here. You're in this more negative headspace. When you walk away, you're no longer going to be having these labor pains, so to speak. You're just going to exist. You're not going to be in the painful process anymore of this rebirth. It will have already happened. And so that pain is going to go away. The negativity is going to go away. You're going to feel better and more confident with your life, because right now you're letting the fear and the negative emotions control you, instead of just letting yourself go for things, experiment, and have fun. This shift is meant to make it where you're more sustained and you're more emotionally fulfilled. But you're so focused on who you need to be for that to happen that you're actually not allowing yourself to go through that process. And so it's almost like a double-edged sword. And so if you can just get out of your own mindset and quit trying to predict who you're going to become, and if you just let yourself figure it out along the way, it's going to be a much more enjoyable process for you. You're going to get through it, and you can start to take action and persevere with your life. And so I hope this resonates for you. If it did, let me know in the YouTube comments down below. Also give this video a big thumbs up and share with others who need to hear it. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. I would love to have you a part of this family, and make sure you turn on that bell notification so you don't miss out when I post future videos. I post new videos every single week to help you along with your spiritual journeys, and I'll have more videos linked in the cards above for you to watch next. If you want to get your own private reading, all the ways you can contact me is going to be in the description box down below, and I can't wait to see you all in my next video. I hope you have a good one. Bye. So those of you who chose the heart, for the rest of your cards, you have the Castle, Resistance, Vision, Simplicity, card 38, 4th Chakra, Archangel Raphael, 21, Strategy, 41, 7th Chakra, Archangel Uriel, 33, South Node, Past, and 18, Sun Source. So I'm going to take a moment to rearrange these cards so you can see them a bit better. So when it comes to the problem that you're facing, you have the heart and you have the castle. And with these color schemes as well, I'm also thinking of Wanda and Cosmo from the Fairly Odd Parents. And it's almost like there's this underestimation of yourself, this under-evaluation of yourself. With the heart archetype, this is talking about being in your throne, being in your nest, being secure, being happy, knowing what you want, getting what you want, making your soul happy and enjoying your life. The castle represents this endless chase. The castle represents the material items, the manifestations that you're still trying to achieve. And so right now it feels like there's a problem where you are not necessarily happy with what you have, and not in the sense that you're not fulfilled by what you have. It's you're not where you want to be yet. You're chasing this goal that you have not yet acquired. And it's reminding me also of the Taylor Swift song Bejeweled. And in the song, the line goes, "Don't put me in the basement when I want the penthouse of your heart." You're chasing something that you do not have, and in order to get it, there needs to be this meditation to allow you to strategize, allow you to get it. Some of you need to start writing out what you want, making goals, making lists, making a plan, mapping it out. I think right now your problem is you have a block when it comes to manifesting, and you need to heal that because there's resistance. But then you have the vision and you have simplicity. You also have the south node and the sun. So there's a problem right now, there's a block, but you're holding on to this vision. You're going to get it. You need to simplify things. You need to adjust them. And more so importantly, you need to break them down where you can strategize and make a plan. Right now, you're underestimating yourself and things are daunting, they're intimidating. You want these manifestations, but you're doubting your ability to get them. But with this south node, this is the past. This is also representing your past lives. You have done this. You have done the work before. You're going to be able to get it because all the skills that you need, you can tap into subconsciously because you're also the sun here. The sun is the source. The sun is illumination. The sun is the breakthrough. It's the dawn. It's the beginning. Your problem is you're in the period of getting it. You're in the period of developing your skills. You're going to get it, but you have to trust yourself. You have to trust the process. And with the archangels that you have now, you have your heart chakra representing that you can get past this. There's a block that you need to heal, but you have the knowledge to do so. This is the chakra of information, of downloads, of wisdom, knowledge. For some of you, this could be a block with your actual heart where you are thinking that you're not worthy of getting this and you need to find more self-love and self-confidence. Others of you, this is a block that stems from your past when it comes to manifesting love, manifesting family, manifesting the life that you want, because people in the past have betrayed you. And so now when you encounter people, you're always strategizing ways to protect yourself. You overthink, you overcomplicate, you over-prepare because you're so afraid of things not working. That's why you're being told to simplify. Strategize a plan, but then trust that what you have planned is going to work. Don't keep revising it. Don't keep changing it. With the vision, you're blindfolded. You don't see it yet. You don't know if you have it yet. You keep assuming you don't have it. You keep assuming it's not working, that your plan, your strategy is not working. Spirit wants you to take a moment where you do a little experiment with your life, where you start just trusting things. You trust yourself, you trust the universe, and just pretend for a moment that the current plan you have is leading to your manifestation. Don't change things. Allow yourself to just see where your current path is taking you. And maybe do it for a week, do it for a month, do it for 6 months, however long you're being drawn to do this for. And just see what results you get from trusting things a little bit. Because it's like you map things out, but you don't trust the map is taking you the right way. And so it's like the map is saying to go here, but after 5 steps, when you're not at your destination yet, you're like, let me try a different way. And you try and remap things, and you're overcomplicating the situation. And that's part of the problem that you don't even realize. That's why you haven't reached this manifestation yet. You're changing the goalposts too much. You're going to get it. You're going to achieve it. Your path there just needs to be more mindful. You need to simplify it, really. That's what the current disconnect is. And that's why it's like the very odd parents is coming up for me, because you have the ability to wish for things, to manifest them, to have your wishes granted. You just have to give yourself enough time to see them enter your life. And so when it comes to your meditations, focus on your heart chakra and focus on your crown chakra, but allow yourself to evaluate the things in your life that you have kind of doubted, or the things that you have done that haven't been the best decisions for you, the times where you mistrusted your heart, where you have gotten hurt. To reflect on the past and see what wounds that has left that you're then overcorrecting now. Because I think there's this energy where you're trying to protect yourself, but you're actually walling yourself inside, creating this castle that you can't escape from, and therefore you can't actually get what you want because you trapped yourself in. There's a balance between these walls, these borders, and this nest that you can enter and leave on your own accord. And so when it comes to this resistance here, unfortunately, you are your own resistance. You're getting in your head too much. You're overthinking. You're stressing too much. You will get a solution. Things are going to work out in your favor. They're going to work out how you're envisioning them. It's just you're not giving it enough time to actually achieve this. And it's like you keep trying to peek through that blindfold, and when you don't see it, you assume it's not there. It's just hidden. It's foggy. Eventually, the sun's going to come out. The clouds are going to disappear. You're going to be able to see it. But you really need to allow yourself to stop getting in your own way. Trust yourself. Trust that what you have strategized is good enough. It's going to work. And just stick with the plan. Just give it some more time. And try not to change things every 5 minutes. Try not to revise things all the time. Because you're doing too much. And it's actually hindering you. Just start to trust. And I understand a lot of this is easier said than done. It's not always easy to trust yourself. But right now, that's your biggest block right now. A lot of this is your own doing. You're getting in your own way. And so you have to find a way to step back, evaluate yourself, be mindful enough to be aware of when you are self-sabotaging or you are causing your own issues and you're creating your own problems so that you have the awareness to stop them before you actually take action on it. This way, you can make it where you're not getting in your own way, and then when you do face obstacles, you're going to be able to solve them without making them worse. And I think by doing that, you're going to see you're actually able to achieve these manifestations a lot easier. It's all about shifting your mindset right now and breaking things down where they're easier to understand, you're aware of them, and therefore you can be more mindful with your actions. And so I really hope this helps you out. I hope that it resonates for you. If it did, let me know in the YouTube comments down below. Also give this video a big thumbs up and share with others who need to hear it. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do so. I would love to have you a part of this family. And make sure you turn on that bell notification so you don't miss out when I post my next video. I post new videos every single week, and I'm going to have other videos of mine linked in the cards above for you to watch now. If you want to get your own private reading, I do sell them. All the ways you can contact me is going to be in the description box down below. And I can't wait to see you all in my next video. I hope you have a good one. Bye. So those of you who chose the riddle, for the rest of your cards, you have card 14, Debilitated Discomfort, 50, 12th House Introspection, 34, Door to Personal Healing and Happiness, 17, Action, 9, Broken Heart, Fire, Abundance, and Illumination. I'm going to take a moment to rearrange these cards so you can see them a bit better. So because riddle is your problem, this feels like it's an issue that you're capable of solving, but it's difficult, it's frustrating, it's annoying, you're confused, you're in limbo. And it also adds this element of knowing what the answer is, but overlooking it. Sometimes with riddles, you mislead yourself into thinking it's too easy. It has to be more complicated. And so there's this energy of disregarding the simplest solution, overlooking it. And right now I'm sensing that this situation is bringing you discomfort with card 14. There's this energy of debilitation in which you don't know what to do. You feel like you can't do anything about it. You feel a little bit hopeless. But then in your solutions, you have the action card. So this is saying you're capable of solving this riddle. You're capable of understanding it, comprehending it, and being able to find your answer because you know it within you. You're just overlooking it. And I think the reason you're overlooking this solution is because you have card 34, Door to Personal Healing and Happiness, and then you have card 9, Broken Heart. So you've done this introspection, and you're not necessarily happy with what you have to do to solve the riddle. I get the sense because of the fire cards, you could be dealing with a fire sign. I also sense because of the 12th house, you could be dealing with a water sign. And so I think the issue of conflict here is that in order for you to have a solution, and in order for you to grow, there's this energy of destruction that you need to do first. You have this fire and water elements here. And so the thing is, when you put water on fire, it burns it out. The passion, the energy, that spark is gone. And I think right now it's like you're too emotionally attached to the situation to be willing to walk away. I sense that you could be dealing with a person, or this could just be a situation that you are comfortable with where you're at. And so now there's this discomfort because you've outgrown it. You're ready for change, but you don't want to change. You don't want to grow. Again, you're trying to overlook this riddle because you're not happy with the solution. But the door to your personal healing and happiness is that it's time for action. It's time for you to move on. It's time for you to accept what's not working and break your heart if it means you can grow. And I get the sense with this Illuminate card here, it kind of looks like the wax is making the eye cry. And you also have a tear at the end of this broken heart card. And so to me, this represents that there's going to be emotions. It's going to be sad. It's not going to be fun as you're growing. This is like a growing pain that you're going through. But it's needed because right now, you're trying so hard to stay stuck in what you have, but it's not what you need. With the fire card, it's also bringing up the energy of you played with fire, now you got burned. It was fun in the moment, but now the passion's not there. Now it's overwhelming. And when it comes to your solution cards, you have 7, 8, 9, because 34 breaks down to 7, 17 breaks down to 8, and then you have 9. So this is showing these cycles of things, how you go from 7, 8, 9. 7 is the number of introspection. It is the number of reflection and really analyzing things, having these breakthroughs, gaining this insight. So you are gaining your insight on what's actually making you happy. 8 is manifesting. It is the number of possibility, of potential. There's so much energy you can tap into with your action. There's so many choices you can make to bring you closer to your happiness. But every step forward you take is taking you away from what you have. And that's why you have 9, broken heart. Because no matter what, there's going to be people who get hurt. There's going to be things that you want to hold on to that you simply cannot. With this abundance card, this is reminding me of Persephone and Hades, and how there was a compromise that needed to be made. And no one was super thrilled by the outcome. It wasn't ideal. But the compromise worked for everyone because it gave them a little bit of what everyone wanted. Everyone won in the end. And that's what's going on now. The outcome for this problem is not ideal, but it's going to work, it's going to make sense, and it's going to lead to fulfillment, even though the circumstances surrounding it are not what you had hoped for or what you envisioned. That's why there's this level of discomfort. Because to solve the riddle, you're overlooking what needs to be done. And just like a riddle, there can be things that are tricky in it. There's things that you need to pay attention to. There's some loopholes that end up tricking you up. And that's what's going on now. You're going to find a solution. You're going to be okay. But it's not by any means going to be super fun. But because of this cycle ending with card 9, it's going to lead to your personal healing and happiness. This door has to close in order for you to open another. And so there's this bittersweet energy going on now. But there's this level of accepting the change that you need to take, because card 14 reduces to number 5. And then you have card 50, which is 5 as well. 5 is the number of change. And so this is a period of transformation for you. The problem that is occurring right now is meant to trigger yourself so that you understand, hey, things are not how I want them to be. So that you understand this is not working. This is not bringing me healing and happiness and love and affection and attention. And that's what I deserve. And I think a lot of you right now, what you don't even realize is that you're stuck in these situations that you're holding on to that are not actually giving you the attention, the value, and the love that you think it is. You have the passion, but the sustainable energy is not there. And so without that sustainability, it was always meant to die out. It was always meant to be short-lived. It was always meant to be for a season, for a cycle of your life. And with the riddle, it's showing how everything is connected. It leads one into the other. It's not that you can't completely ever come back from this. But again, a compromise has to be made. And while making that compromise, it's gonna break your heart a little bit. You're basically being told right now and coming to understand the fact that you can't have it all at once. And so there's this illumination of you finding what's more important for you. What do you actually want to take action on? And that's what's bringing this discomfort. Because while you change, while you evolve, there's all this pressure that's going on you. And it's shaping you into who you need to be. But it's not ideal. And so when it comes to overcoming this problem in your life, I'm being told that you know the solutions. You know what you need to do. It's going to require hard work. It's going to require you to do things that you don't necessarily want to do, but you need to do in order to take action, to create some sort of compromise and balance within your life in which you have these positive things happening to you. Because right now you're in so much denial, or you're wanting to overlook the easiest solution, because you're wanting to overlook the simplest solution because it's not easy. Because simple and easy don't mean the same thing. Something can be very simple and understandable, but not easy to do because of our own willpower. And so I think that's what's going on now, because this is not something that you want. It's making it where this is not easy, so you don't want to do it. You want to find a quick fix. You want to find a solution that makes it where you have it all. And right now you're being told you can't. Right now you're being told there's going to be some tears. There's going to be compromises. There's going to be a period of time that is needed for you to grow, but where you don't get everything you want, and where you're going through this period of discomfort. And the thing about your problem as well, we're looking at this Riddle card. Here you have the two-person, they're holding their hands together. You have other people reaching out to them. I don't think this is something other people can solve for you. I think people can give you advice, but I think this action is internally. I think everything you're doing, you have to accept, you have to do. This is your work to put in. This problem is only going to be solved by you. It's not going to be solved by someone else. And I think the reason for that is because this deals with your own happiness. This deals with your own healing. You are the only one who can do this work. You are the only one who can put yourself first and take this action by being introspective. And I sense for some of you, it's like there needs to be actual action of walking away from people, cutting them out, blocking them, breaking up with someone. And it's not going to be fun. And that's what I keep going back to, is that you're wanting a solution that is happy. And sometimes we have to do something that we don't enjoy in order to gain happiness later on. Sometimes we have to go through something painful because it's ultimately better for us, instead of living a life in which we have something that made us happy in the moment, but then no longer works for us. It feels like what you're holding on to is not sustainable, and that's what you're being told. It's not actually going to lead to happiness long term. It might be happy right now, but without compromise, without balance, without figuring things out and asking the tough questions and going through this discomfort, it will always just be surface level happiness. And so I feel like Spirit's advice for you is that you have to do this yourself. You have to be upfront and honest with yourself. Because if you're not being honest with yourself, you're going to continue to live in this riddle. You're going to continue to live in limbo. You're going to continue to never be satisfied with the answer, because you're always chasing the answer to that riddle and you're never going to actually get it. It brings this time of not truly ever being satisfied because you're constantly chasing an answer, when really you have the answer. You just need to accept it. And again, this goes to the action energy. This all comes down to you have the ability right now to solve this. You have the ability right now to understand it. It comes down to your own level of illumination and what you're truly willing to see right now in this situation. And it comes down to your own level of introspection and acceptance of this discomfort. If you don't want to accept it, you don't have to, but you will continue to live in this limbo. Whereas if you accept it, if you face it, if you take the action that is not going to be fun, and you do things that are tough but needed, and you allow yourself to really have this emotional conversation with yourself in which you accept what you're holding on to that is actually not leading to your happiness, and you make changes that is more sustainable and better for your life, you're going to see the rewards pay off. And again, this is like a tough situation because it's not one in which the outcome is going to be super positive. In the long term, it will be, but in the short term, you're breaking your own heart. And so I feel like Spirit just wants you to know that you are loved right now. And sometimes life doesn't make sense. Like the riddle, sometimes things are confusing. Sometimes life is like a trickster, and there's things that happen and you don't know why they're happening. And while you can find a lesson in them, it doesn't mean that they happen specifically for a lesson. And sometimes there's not always a reason for things, but just because there's not a reason for them doesn't mean that you can't use it to your advantage, where you don't let it hold you back. And I think that's what's going on now, is you're going through this situation in which there's a problem you don't want to face, because it's one that you really shouldn't have had to face. It's not one where this is a fun lesson to learn, but it's happening, you're going through it. And so You can't deny that it's happening. You can't deny that you're feeling this way internally and that you're going through this discomfort. And since you're feeling this discomfort, you need to do something about it instead of hoping it's going to go away, because unfortunately it's not going to go away on its own. It's only ever going to grow. And it's the same way if you're growing and you have these growing pains and you continue to try and fit your foot in the same shoe size that you were when you were 10, it's only going to hurt yourself. You can't deny that you're growing. You can't deny that you're evolving. And so just because you don't want to be growing in this way doesn't mean you can sit and say that you're not. That's only hurting yourself. You need to accept that you need to buy a bigger pair of shoes and find a way to accept that and be okay with that. You'll get past this point of discomfort and unhappiness because this is leading to your happiness. And that's what Spirit's bringing you back to, is that this is temporary. This is the change. This is the transformation. It's not fun in this process. Once you get past it, it will be a lot easier to handle. Emotionally, you'll start to understand it and you will move on. It's just this period of time in which you're solving this. It's going to be very emotional for you, especially if you are a water sign. But because it's so emotional, that's actually allowing you to tap into this 12th house here and tap into your subconscious and really be introspective and have these breakthroughs that you never had before. It's like it's sending you into this place that you haven't really explored. And you're starting to develop your skills to understand yourself on a deeper level than you have before. And so there's a lot of growth that's stemming from this, even though it's not something fun to be going through. And so there will be a solution, there will be happiness, there might be compromises, but you'll make peace with all of them in time. It's really a situation in which you need to do what's best for you, even if it's not fun, even if it's not enjoyable. You have to put yourself first, take care of yourself on all levels. And with time, you'll start to see that it was what was truly best for you. And so I'm sending you all so much love as you're going through this. It's not easy, but you're going to get through it. You're going to make some sense of this in the future. And you're really going to evolve into a better person who's enjoying your life more, especially compared to this time right now. This is a very difficult time, but you're going to be okay. You're going to get past it. You just need to accept it and then take some time to heal. And so, like I said, I'm sending you so much love. This is not easy, but again, like, it's going to be okay. That's one takeaway from this that you really need to remember. You're going to be okay. You're going to get past this. This discomfort is passing. And so I hope that this helps you in some way. I hope this resonates for you. If it did, let me know in the YouTube comments down below. Also, give this video a big thumbs up and share with others who need to hear it. If you're not already subscribed, please do so. I would love to have you a part of this family. And make sure you turn on that bell notification so you don't miss out when I post my next video. I post new videos every single week, and I'm going to have other videos of mine linked in the cards above for you to watch next. If you want to purchase your own reading, I do sell them. All the ways you can contact me is going to be in the description box down below. And I can't wait to see you all in my next video. I hope you have a good one. Bye.